Welcome back to the Sound for More channel. It's Leo speaking. Today I have the pleasure to introduce you to Virtual Synth TGX-85 from Gospel Musicians. Before I continue, I would like to remind my viewers to subscribe as it helps with growing the channel. Additionally, if you would like to participate in the giveaway and have an opportunity to own a copy of this app, please do follow the instruction in the video description. Thank you again. So, what is TGX-85? Well, it's a virtual synth sample library, which is based on the Yamaha SY85. This is version 2, as you can see on the screen on the top left here. It's an evolution from version 1 from Gospel Musicians. Really nice. And yeah, it works as a standalone mode, as you can see right now, but it supports AUV3, it supports interrupt audio as well. If you are familiar with Gospel Musicians apps, you will find somewhere a button to go to the utility, to the settings, which is where I would like to start. So if you click here, where it says utility, it gives you access to this settings menu where you have different categories. So the first one is tuning, where you can adjust in synths your tuning. So you can do micro tuning adjustments. You can transpose up and down by semitones, octave. You can adjust the velocity curve. More importantly, I find the settings here on the second category where it says settings again. Here you can change the DCC numbers for MIDI sustain, program change, etc. You can also change the streaming mode in case you have a device which is very slow. You can change the polyphony. I set it to maximum. I have an iPad Pro M1, so it can handle that. And then here at the bottom, you can have access to the user menu. Audio, this is where you can change your audio device in case you have more than one. In this case, again, it has identified an iOS audio device because it's an iPad. Importantly here, if you start to hear crackling noises or rattling, then change your buffer size. That might help. You can change the global gain, and also you can set the application to run in background audio, so it will continue running. The audio will not be cut when you switch to another application. MIDI sources here, as you can see, I have selected an external Akai MPK Mini 3, which I love, works very well. Channels, the channels which are enabled from a MIDI point of view, and then access to your sample folder, because the sample folder is quite big, as you can see in the factory library, 16.1 gigabyte. You can decide to store it on your iPad or to an external SSD, like in my case, so I can save some storage space on the iPad. You can see I've downloaded it and installed it, but I can also remove it. If I want to, I can repair it. And of course, I can also access some privacy policy in terms of use. So, back to the main screen, we have an init preset selected. You can play using a keyboard at the bottom here. You can move down an octave, up an octave. You can see the octave number is changing there, or you can use an external controller, like I'm doing at the moment. You have modulation wheel here, pitch wheel, which of course I can control as well using my external controller. Okay, perfect. Now, up here, you find what it says init. You have arrows to move between different presets, of course, and then you can save. And if you click on it, you have access to this screen, which you can reposition if you like. So, but starting from the left-hand side, you can choose a library, like use a preset or TGX-85 library. Then you can create a new library if you like. When you selected the library, you can then access a bank, internal voice 1. You can create a new bank, you can edit it as well. And then after you've done that, you can select a preset within that bank. Of course, you saw a little window which was just showing you that it loaded the samples. Now, in terms of preset, you can change them, you can add a preset, you can also share them. And of course, you have favorite categories as well. And what I really like is you have also a search, like so. And that gives you access to, for example, the pads. course, click on the X here to delete the search and then close that. Okay, something I want also to show you here, importantly, is again how to select preset, which you can do without going into this window. So as you can see at the moment, you have a bank in internal voice 1 and then preset A2, which corresponded here to internal 1, A, and 2. So if I want to go to A3 preset, I click here, A3 internal 1. It says here on the display A3, and then of course here it has selected A3. I could switch to internal bank 2, B1. Electric piano, and you can see here internal voice 2, B1, keyboard electric piano 3, which is what you see on the display. So that's a quicker way to access your preset, of course, if you know where to navigate. Now you have a menu here, button which says voice. If you click on it, it will change the performance, and then it will say internal 1. And here it has switched to bank performance 1. Okay. And then, of course, you can choose again your preset A1. As you can hear, different velocity. For example, of course, you might want to adjust your velocity curve if you decide that that is not what you prefer, right? Click and hold and then drag up and down. Okay, so that might be something that you want actually to change. Of course, you can use the arrow here to go to the next one, like so. You can see it is navigating as well here on the buttons, the control panel, but also here on the browser preset window. So there are tons of presets, which of course you can choose. Again, if you click on the performance here button, it exits it, it goes to voice mode, and then you can choose the 4 internal banks. Remember, of course, if you have, like you heard a moment ago, a bit of a glitch, if you have a preset on and is playing and you change, of course, you will hear a little bit of a glitch as it loads in the next sample. But you have almost 300 presets you can choose from. Sorry, 380, almost 400 presets, yeah. Nice, you have some nice strings as well. Okay, so on the left hand side, here is where you can edit the preset. But before we go to that, the controls up here, these two are linked for your output, left and right channel, which you can see the level here as well on the LEDs. And then you can adjust the output of each oscillator 1 to 4, and you can select them here 1 to 4 as well. And then you have the level of insert here 1 to 4 as well. As I mentioned, you can click here and you go in edit mode, and you can see it has changed to red here. And here it says oscillator select to change the what it shows on the display. And of course, you can go to the second one, etc., depending on which one is actually active. In this case, this one. The way it works is you click on it here on edit and exit. The second time, of course, you will exit, click on it again, and you will enter the edit mode. And then here you have like a metrics to access different settings of the app. So for example, if I want to go to the LFO, click on LFO here. You can see it's changing here. And the LFO is on, but I could turn it off clicking on here. And then it is showing the parameter view, because here the first button here, this series of 4 vertical buttons. The first one is selected, which means under LFO, first one is a metrics, the parameter view is showing. If I click this one, it goes into wave, as it says here, and there it says it changes the display here to show the type of wave. Sync, bipolar, triggering, etc. And then you can use the slider here to change the value. The other important thing, if you click and hold some of this control, you can select a new value. If you click and hold, you can select also MIDI CC, which you can apply globally. You can click learn and then move a control. And then you can see it has recognized that the particular control, which you can then use to change the slider as you like. Now let's go back to the LFO. Here, let's go to the parameter view. It is on, but it could be off. So in this case, you can press here under LFO on, and then of course, in this case, there is a modulation 1. You can adjust, for example, the depth. You can start here it, or you can change it to here, modulation 1 to pitch. You can have 2 modulation destination. Change the speed. Of course, you can change the filter here, and then you have access to envelope here. You have different controls, and you can see your typical ADSR here with the velocity curve as well. You can turn it on and off here. You can go to modulation options here. You can go to EQ options as well, which works extremely well. It's really nice. Look how many bands you have. Turn it on and off, and then change, of course, the gain. Then you can go to control, and here is where you change setting for your gliding, your delay, randomization, your wheel controls, your range as well, of course, on and off, and then your amp, and then you have access to envelope, of course, velocity, sorry, here envelope, this is your ADSR. Access to your modulation parameters, and then you have voices for which you have access to oscillator, right? which of course you can change. You can edit your gain, your pan, your semitone, transposition, your sense, your octave. You can tune it as well. You can turn it on and off. So lots of a different option, which of course you can have a lot of fun with. Now let's go back to that user preset, user bank init preset. Or you don't have to. You could also select one that you prefer instead of have a unit, an init one. So one of the things I haven't talked about yet is the effect. Here, if you click effects, you go into another part of the app, which again, for users of gospel musicians apps, this is familiar. You can have insert effects, and you can have them also as master as well. You can run them in series, you can run them in parallel. You can have 5 slots for each. Click and hold or right click if that is available, and then you choose one effect. So for example, let's add a chorus. There, you can turn it on and off, of course, and then you can adjust the settings. Click and hold, and let's put, why not, a reverb. Click and hold on the next one. Let's add a delay. Actually, I want the delay to be before the reverb. And then what you can actually do, sorry, let me reinsert the reverb because I removed it. You can click and hold, drag and drop, and you can change the position of the effect. And of course, the beauty is that you have access to so many effects: chorus, phasing, distortion, drive for your guitar preset, stereo, auto pan, which is really nice. Your equalizer, you have a 3-band or 11-band EQ, amp simulator, tuning adjustment, a compressor, and also things like talkbox, which or other as well. And as I mentioned, you can also add them as master effect. You can see you have a master limiter here as well, and you have different type of effects that you can still add here as well. And here you have your reverb section as well. Again, you can continue adding, for example, different type of reverb if that is what, of course, you are looking for. So lots of different options, a fantastic app. I've seen some comments about the space used, but nowadays SSD, external SSD are actually very cheap, and you can redirect the storage of your sample library to an external SSD, and they load very quickly. As you can see, moving from one preset to the next is almost immediate. So, and you don't really have problems with that. And again, as I mentioned earlier on, you have so many different presets. Yes, of course, this is sampled in terms of approach as a synthesis, so it uses more space, but it is really a nice app. I really enjoyed it, and you can have hours of fun. And of course, you can add that Yamaha SY85 feel inside your composition, and you can run these as an AU3 inside AUM, for example, or Logic Pro. Why not? Okay, I'm going to stop here. I hope you enjoyed the tutorial and demonstration, and as always, see you next time. Bye.